Welcome back, everybody. Backyard Country Living, Jeff here. Got a real treat in store for you today. I know you're looking on the back of the Massey here thinking, what in the world is that? This is something that I made. I don't know, I like to do stuff with my hands, make things, come up with ideas. Something I had some spare parts laying around the farm. Thought about something and got some scrap metal, did a little welding, put it together. This is a 3-point hitch tree saw. Runs off the PTO of the tractor for cutting down small trees. I've used it a little bit. You know, it's not something you're going to use a lot. It's you know, obviously you can do it a lot quicker with a chainsaw, but it's just something I wanted to see if I can make, and I did, and it works pretty good to be honest. Anyway, we'll get a close-up of it here, and then we'll actually go cut a couple trees down and show you how it works. All right, taking a close look at this thing. The PTO shaft that you see here and the gearbox that's underneath here, that came off of an old funnel-type fertilizer spreader that I had, that the funnel part had rusted out at the bottom, so it was not usable for that purpose. So I salvaged the gearbox and the shaft off of that. So in the bottom of that funnel, you've as the fertilizer pours out, you've kind of got like a plate with little blades or whatever on it that scatter the fertilizer. So I took all that off and I actually flipped this gearbox over. So normally this gearbox would be turned up and the plate would be upwards, but I flipped it over so that that little plate was facing downward. And then this frame you see here with the 3-point, that's off of an old style sprayer. Back in the day when I was growing up, we had the sprayers that hooked to the back of the tractor, 3-point, had a pump, and it was like a 55-gallon drum. And then you had the arms on that, but this front portion is off of one of those old sprayers. The rest of this is metal I had laying around. I just salvaged off of one thing or another, scrap metal pile. But you can see I bolted the gearbox, 2 bolts here, to this piece of metal going across here. It's pretty rigid, pretty heavy duty. And I actually have a little trap door here that covers the blade that I can pull from the tractor. Pull this and it locks open, and then you can see here's the blade that's bolted to the round plate that I mentioned. This plate used to have the little fertilizer spreader bolted to it, turned top side. Now it's on the bottom side. So this is a 16. This is the only thing I actually had to buy other than the stickers. This is a 16-inch saw blade that I was able to bolt that onto that plate. So when you engage the PTO, you pretty much got a circular saw. The gearbox did leak pretty bad. I put a grease fit and I just filled it up with grease. So that way I didn't have to worry about the leaking or replacing any seals. Like I say, it's not something I really use a lot, but I just thought it was a cool idea, and it actually works fairly well. I put the heavy duty metal pipes here, so if you're backing up to a tree, it kind of, if you're not perfectly lined up, that kind of keeps you lined up as, it'll slide and go right to the blade. With the depth of that, you can actually cut a tree up to about 5 inches, but probably more practically, it works better if you're cutting trees that are, 2-3 inches, somewhere more in that range. Up top here, this was the little thing I had a little difficulty coming up with. I wanted this to be a push bar, so as you're backing up and starting to cut the tree, this would be pushing on the trunk of the tree, up a little higher, so that you could push it over and it wouldn't fall back towards you. But the problem is, you got different sized trees. You got some trees that might be leaning this way, or some that might be leaning. So it was hard. I put a couple adjustment holes, but it's still, that I never really perfected to get it where it's almost like it needs to be on some kind of spring loaded thing that where it would be adjustable. But I did come up with this. So as I'm backing up, and you want to make sure that tree doesn't fall towards you. There again, we're talking small stuff. You're not talking anything that's going to be heavy or cause any damage. I'll just take this and kind of push on the tree up high to make sure that it falls the other direction. So I kind of keep that inside this strap here, so it's kind of like that. So, and then it's got a thing here, so you just kind of push on it from the driver's seat. But anyway, I don't know. may be crazy. Maybe you definitely there again. Don't, like I was talking about an earlier video with the mower, you don't want to get near this thing. And I tricked it out with the stickers, as you can see. I called it the tree Terminator. But it was just something I toyed around with, wanted to see if I could make it work. And it actually does work, as you'll see. We'll show you some footage that we'll go cut down a couple of trees and show you how it works. But anyway, all right, we'll get at it and we'll get back with you when we get started. All right, so we're down on one of our trail areas in the woods. We're gonna get a few of the trees along the edge of the trail. All right, one last thing I forgot to mention before we get started here cutting a few trees on the trail here. I added these bars on the bottom of the frame, kind of like skid rails. Turn them up a little on the end so they don't dig in the dirt. That's just so even if you drop the lift all the way down, you got a couple of inches, probably 2 inches, so the blade doesn't get in the dirt, because obviously that would dull the blade pretty quickly. Anyway, let's get it fired up and see what happens. folks, there you have it. It's a little rough around the edges, but it will cut a tree down. But anyway, you can see one of the trees we cut right here. I don't know, that's probably 3 inches around, like the size of my fist there, something like that. And I have cut larger trees, so yeah, it works. It's like I said, it's a little rough around the edges, and honestly, I don't use it very much. This is maybe the second or third time I've ever used it. You know, obviously it takes a little longer to do that with saw. You just go by and whack them off. It's just something, a project I wanted to work on, and said, let me see if I can take some old parts and make something out of it. And you know, surprisingly, it does work pretty well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, I'd like to keep some more videos coming. So if you like these kind of videos, maybe give a thumbs up and click that subscribe button, and we'll catch you next time.